Today's conversation is about the brain, not as a trend, but as human potential. Craig leads the Brain and Performance Center, one of the UAE's leading centers of brain health and recovery. Home to the largest hyperbaric oxygen chamber outside the US, focused on improving performance in a measurable way. But before the title and before the science, he is a father navigating his own son's journey. That experience reshaped he views the brain health, and not as an enhancement for the elite, but as possibility for families, leaders, and communities. Through advanced therapies and their work with DP World Foundation, the mission extends beyond performance. It's about meaningful impact. Craig, welcome. Let's begin at the start as the father. Before joining the Brain and Performance Center, you are a father navigating your own son's journey. How did your personal experience with your son reshape the way you think about brain health possibility?
So first and foremost, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's uh, it's really important to be able to share messages like this with the
Yeah.
community and to be able to give them the opportunity of understanding what I learned. And I think if I go back to the beginning, my son Xander was diagnosed with nonverbal autism from a very young age. And my wife noticed it straight away, even
Mhm.
before the diagnosis. And it took me a while. It took me a while to learn, to understand, to accept, and to be able to turn up to be the best version of myself
Mhm.
for him. And I think over time, the more and more learning, the more and more self-reflecting, the more and more support I was able to give him, gave him the opportunity to be the best version of himself. And I think through that advocacy and through that support, it led me through a variety of different networks, working for the Cleveland Clinic, working for, an international company at the cutting edge of medicine, then being able to be led to the Brain and Performance Center here in Dubai. And like I was telling you earlier, I've spent the good part of 30 years in the UAE, and it's
Yes.
home. But to now be really on the cutting edge of treatment and support programs for people that truly need care is really important.
For parents who have just received a diagnosis and feel overwhelmed, what would you say to them? Not as a CEO of brain performance, but as a father.
It's completely okay to be not okay.
To be not okay.
For me, that diagnosis is something that it hits you like a ton of bricks. It hits you in places where you didn't think you would ever be. Personally, you always dream of, this white picket fence and this perfect life.
Yes.
And you get a diagnosis and it throws you off balance. It throws you to places that you didn't think were possible. And I think one thing that it's taught me, and I'll say that my wife Lizelle, she's an amazing human being. The way in which she helped me to accept, I will be forever grateful for. And I think one of the areas that are important for me to understand and message to give people who just received a diagnosis like this is it's completely okay not to be okay. And it's a journey that we will all experience differently.
How long did it take you to accept when you received the message regarding your son?
So, Xander's diagnosis was, for me, a longer term process. For my wife, she even saw it prior to the diagnosis.
Mhm.
She's a student of medicine. She's a student of understanding.
Mhm.
She's a student of, you know, the way in which each part of this was put together. For me, it took me so much longer. It'll be okay. He'll be fine. It's a phase. He's growing through it. Comments like this were part of my life. And it took me a long time. And when I say a long time, not days, weeks,
Yes.
months. It took years of me to being able to say, you know what? These are the cards that our family's been dealt.
Yeah.
And whether it be good, bad, or indifferent,
Mm-hmm.
it's my chance to give Xander the best possible opportunity to be the best version of himself. And I
Okay.
needed to be present. I needed to be a part of it, not someone who kept shrugging it off. And I'm not saying it's easy,
Yes.
but I need to be a part of this to be able to support him.
Hold hands together.
Exactly.
You often talk about peak cognitive performance. If you had to explain what that really means to a busy parent or a senior executive in one simple sentence, what would you say?
Honestly, Leah, it's not one simple sentence.
Yes.
Like, with all due respect, from a parental side of the
Yes.
business and a executive side of the business, my answer would be very different. So
Just tell us.
let me help you to understand. So from a parental side of the business, because that's where I'm immediately connected, peak cognitive performance is about giving my child, any child, the opportunity to operate at their most optimally. Give them their opportunity to be the best version of themselves. And you've heard me say that now so many times. It's what I truly believe.
Yes.
We're all different. Our diagnoses are different. Our levels of support, our levels of need are very different. So that's why it's important to be the best version of themselves. Now, from a executive perspective, it's more about operating at peak executive function. How you operate in your home and work life can be very different. You can have different levels of executive function. You could have different levels of focus. And as we go through the Brain and Performance Center program, it's a customized program where one learns that journey. You work with a very holistic team that supports you from a nursing perspective, from a hyperbaric perspective, from a neuropsychology, a physical performance, through a dietitian perspective. And that holistic program really supports that executive function moving forward.
As a leader of the center, what is the common denominator to take care of one individual's brain?
So for me, what's really important is we understand that every journey is unique.
Yes.
You could come into the center
Mm-hmm.
to take care of executive performance. You could come in to take care of a health span or longevity space, or after a stroke or a traumatic brain injury or cerebral palsy or autism spectrum disorder, a variety of different indications. But the simple fact is the same. We have a program that's customizable. You start, you do 3 days of assessment.
Yes.
And that's lab tests, physical performance tests, cognitive function, a full SPECT scan and MRI scan of the brain. You build a case for where you are now. Then you go through a customized program that has the 60 sessions of hyperbaric oxygen therapy. You have adjunct therapies alongside that is customized for you. And then you do the exact 3 days of assessment at the end. And you're able to then measure the delta.
Yeah.
So you can see which domains you've improved upon, which areas you're continually growing on. And these are the core elements of our program.
The center blends hyperbaric oxygen therapy, cognitive training, nutrition, and coaching. In your experience, what's the most underestimated piece of the puzzle when it comes to real sustainable performance gains?
I think people come in thinking that they're okay.
Yeah. I would come
And
into the center probably and say, I'm okay.
yeah, and the first question I ask people is, when was the last time you checked your brain?
Yeah.
And everyone sort of sits back and thinks, well, really, I haven't.
Haven't.
If you cut your leg or you break your arm, you can see it, right?
Yes.
But a wound in the brain, you don't see unless you investigate. And part of the aging process, you have these little microstrokes in your brain that, when you lose your keys, when you go to the shops and you go for 20 things and you come back with 3 things. Things like this are the aging process. And people don't see that unless you do a scan of the brain to be able to identify, okay, there's some white spots, or you have a major stroke and then you see, okay, there's a wound in the brain. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to improve cognition through regenerating parts of the body that allow for these areas of brain tissue to be regenerated. And I think that that's one of the core things that we do at the Brain and Performance Center on an everyday basis.
Longevity. What age should an individual check themselves with MRI scan?
So for us, it's very, very subjective, right? So we have a healthy aging program that generally supports people on their longevity or on their health span journey from 40 years plus. We also have programs that are supporting high performance athletes that are younger, long COVID. We have youth at the center that have, brain injuries that are anywhere from 2 years old. And our eldest client is 104 years old.
Oh.
So there is a huge spectrum. It's not just for one size fits all. It's a really customized approach.
I mean, for performance, like if someone just wanted to have like an entire peak cognitive performance as an individual, because I'm an entrepreneur, I don't want to forget things. I want to be high functioning individual.
Yeah, I think one thing that we do well is we customize.
Yeah.
So we have a good amount of clients in our center right now that are young entrepreneurs that are looking not because they have cognitive decline.
Yes.
They're looking to stay optimally fit, both mentally and physically. So we have a lot of entrepreneurs at the moment that are around 33 to 36 years old that are really focused on staying ahead of the game, not falling behind the curve.
Longevity is now very trending, and there's a lot of hype around reversing aging or reverse aging.
Yeah.
And boosting your brain. Where do you draw the line between legitimate science and exaggerated promises?
Sure, that's a great question. We never claim to increase someone's life. Lifespan is you have a number, I have a number. At the end of the day, if the number is this, we don't say we're going to make it longer. But what we do say is health span is one thing that's very, very important to how we do business. And we're about pushing the healthy years of your life all the way to the end, not having you decline 10 years, 12 years, 15 years prior to that number. So it's important to note that we do not claim that we make you live longer, but we make you live healthier for as long as you can. And the one thing that we can stand behind, all of our programs are clinically and scientifically researched. We have published many papers that are able to say, you know what, through this peer group review, this is where we are. This is the research and the data that's shown. We're not a wellness center. We're a highly regulated medical facility, highly regulated by the government here of Dubai, Ministry of Health and the Department of Health, that are supporting us to grow the standards of hyperbaric medicine, not only in Dubai as a city, but in the region.
I agree. We live in a world obsessed with hacks and shortcuts. How does your approach challenge the idea that performance can be upgraded overnight?
It doesn't. We don't promise a quick fix. And I can say that if we sold treatments at the center, hyperbaric treatments, we'd have a line down the street. Jumeirah Lake Towers, the traffic would be even worse than it is now. But I can say that from our standpoint, what we're trying to create is a systematic change in the body. And through the research that Professor Rafrati has been able to bring to the world, we're able to say that for optimal healthy aging or health span clients, That's 60 sessions of hyperbaric oxygen therapy, 5 days a week for 12 weeks. Now, there are shorter programs that have research associated with them for, you know, athletic performance, for other long COVID programs. For the youth, the protocol is also very different. But I can say that this is not something that'll happen quick fix overnight. This is a systematic change in the body we're creating. And these programs do have the associated research and scientific evidence to be able to
Evidences.
show a change in the body.
Without getting technical, how would you explain to someone why spending time in a hyperbaric chamber can lead to meaningful changes in recovery and performance?
So, being a part of the program, we are, as I said, creating a systematic change in the body. So, what we're doing is we are felicitating
Hmm.
the opportunity for new blood vessels, replicating of stem cells. So, that is healing the body from the inside out. And that's really the approach that you need to take throughout this whole program. It's not about a quick fix. It's not about we can do this in a week. Your body is that process. So when people go through the program, they see results at different stages. Like some people see results 5, 10 sessions in. Some people see it 23 sessions in.
Yes.
So it really depends on the person as to how that customized program relates to them.
When you say being part of the program, have you tried hyperbaric, or are you into the process or to the program itself?
Definitely.
Yes. And how has it been so far?
So for me and my family, and I can say that because we are a part of it, my wife has done the program several times.
Yes.
You know, I've participated in the program. My son has done the program several times. We can say that there is definite change, and what it's done for my wife, what it's done for my son, what it's done for me
For yourself
specifically
specifically.
is very different. You know, for me, I saw very quickly that my sleep improved, my executive function improved. And the more and more sessions that I continue to do, the more things change in me. But it's different for every person. So you have all have a different baseline. You all have a different starting point. And each person enters that journey differently. And what you would get out of the program and what I would get out of the program, or Bill or Fred or Mary or Muhammad, would be
Yes.
all very different.
Exactly.
But the most important part is when you meet with a physician at the beginning, you have your pre-treatment assessments and you set expectations together. This is where we see opportunities. Are you comfortable with this? Where are you seeing challenges in your life? How can we focus on this? So that customized program really supports the way in which your journey proceeds.
You personally, how soon did you saw the difference?
So for me, I saw things very quickly. My sleep changed, you know, even 5, 10 sessions in. I went from waking up completely exhausted to only sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night now and being always on. And for me, you know, the ability to have access to care of this type has changed my life. You know, can I say that I've done the full program many times over? No, I cannot.
Yeah.
But I have seen people that have done it several times over the span of multiple years and have seen phenomenal results, not only in the executive function space, but in the indication space, that have, you know, recovered from stroke or were unable to walk, came in a wheelchair, and through the program with a phenomenal team around them, are leaving the center being able to walk on a walker. And that's changed their life.
Fabulous. Yes.
Like, it's changed their family's life. It's to be able to be a part of a journey like this is really very rewarding.
Wonderful. When clients say they feel better, but you're also tracking objective data, how do you How do you balance subjective transformation with measurable outcomes?
Yeah. So, like for us, we start with a baseline assessment, those 3 days of
Mhm.
assessment. So, people will feel different throughout the journey. Then, as you go through the 60 sessions, you then have the exact same, no different assessment at the
Mhm.
end. And then you're able to measure the delta, data at the beginning, data at the end. Here's the difference.
Mhm.
Your executive functions change, your dual taskings change, your this has changed, your, you know, XYZ has changed. And then you couple that with how the people actually feel. And
Mhm.
sometimes they know before you even have the final assessment meeting. They walk in and say, well,
Feel better.
I think I've changed here. I think I've changed here. And it's never about, I feel better, I feel worse. They educate themselves throughout the program that, this part is what's really important for
Yes.
me. Or the dual tasking on the Brain HQ that I'm doing in the suite every day. I'm getting faster. My process is quick. I wasn't like that at the
Mhm.
beginning. So they know, here's my change. Here's my change. And then you report them the data. They're like, yeah, I can see that.
Do you know Brian Johnson?
I do, yes.
He is a billionaire,
Mhm.
and going through brain and performance, this is also part of longevity and reverse aging.
Mhm.
And whilst this industry is getting larger and larger and larger, and people are going through the positive pathways of being healthy,
Mhm.
what's your thoughts on the message from the public says that longevity and reverse aging is only for the rich people?
So, good question. Now, what Brian Johnson does is he invests, as you correctly say,
Yes.
millions
Mhm.
into himself
Yes.
and billions into tech around the world all the time. Now, we have a variety of different programs available. Now, we don't just have the uber rich at our clinic. We don't just have average Joe at our clinic. We have also the ability to take care of people who truly need care. Now, we partner with the DP World Foundation, where we're able to support people who really can't afford it. Now, they make applications to us, and we're able to then support them on their commercial
That's
journey
very
through the
great.
center.
Yes.
Like I can say that we're sending a team, as we did last year in April, Autism Awareness Month, to raise funds and to raise awareness for people with autism. Now, that trek last year was to Mount Everest. So it was Everest Base Camp.
Mm-hmm.
My wife went on that trek as part of our journey for Xander. And it was led by Ant Middleton, one of the British Special
Yes.
Forces celebrities. Now, this year, there will be another trek. We have other members of the team. Another parent of a child with autism is going with. And last year, we raised funding for 27 children. It's a
Fabulous.
phenomenal amount of
Yes.
funds raised to be able to take care of people who truly need care. So, through the DP World Foundation, we are supporting people. Now, at the end of the day, we do take care of a variety of people throughout the community. We have expatriates, we have locals, we have international medical tourism. We have so many people coming into the center that it's a really proud moment to stand in front of someone who really needs the support and just physically can't afford a 3-month program at the center, and to say, you know what, we got you. You know, there are people out there that do take care of
Yes.
the philanthropic areas of the community, and we can support you on this journey. And the tears that are shed and the appreciation is, yeah, it's next level.
Yeah, I'll try to bring in my brother.
Definitely.
Do you worry that the culture of constant optimization creates pressure or even fear around normal aging and human limitation? How do you approach that responsibility?
I think society is educating itself. There was a time several years ago that there was a lot of pressure. And I think now, when conversations around brain health, around health span, even
Mhm.
around the buzzwords of longevity, there's less pressure because people understand more. Before it was like, what really is it?
Yeah.
Maybe it'll make me live longer. Do you know what I mean?
Because
N-
the rise of the people who goes to the gym as well,
Mhm.
and people who takes care of themselves, the people who cut alcohol, the people who stop smoking
Mhm.
are also increasing. So I think, yes, I agree with that societal message.
Yeah, I think people now take the time to understand versus before it was just like, it's a fad, people will get over it. Now they understand, well, if I take care of myself through X, Y, and Z, I'll be here longer, or I'll be here to be able to support my family,
Yes.
or I will be able to achieve this. So I think from that perspective, there's the ability of societal education that people can now sit back and say, that makes sense. Let me partake.
With your son, autism, with your expectation on this program, do you think he can live a normal life?
So, good question. When he did the program for the first time, he's done it now several times. Initially, I didn't see any change straight away.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I run this center. I thought that I'd see something happen earlier. And it didn't. Session 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, nothing. No change.
Hmm.
I said to my wife, Lizelle, I said, what is this? Like, something has to happen.
Yeah.
So we made a call to the professor and we sat down and had a discussion. He's like, stay the course. We're creating a systematic change in the body. Stay the course. We will get there. So we thought, okay, all right, let's give it another go. Okay, session 21, nothing. 22, nothing. 23. I remember it as if it was yesterday.
Yes. I'm having a goosebumps. I'm waiting for the story.
I put Xander to sleep and I co-sleep with him every night because that's our thing. That's our way of connecting. And I put him to bed. I tuck him in. I say, X, that's our pet name for Xander. X, Papa loves you. He rolled over. You know what he said to me?
Wait, I'm gonna cry.
Love you. And
Wonderful.
that was the start of the systematic change in the body. Now, can he converse like you and me right now? No. But is he able to communicate? Yes. Can he count? Yes. One, two, three, four. Phonetically, he can say the alphabet. Ah,
Mm-hmm.
B. Like he says some words sometime, but from being completely non-verbal to now being pre-verbal, it's a huge step. And the ability for him to communicate. He communicates with an iPad, with an AAC device.
Similar to my brother.
So he can say this. He can communicate. Now, does he have, challenging days? Yes. And so do
It's
you. And
always,
so do
yes.
I.
Everybody is.
But at the end of the day, he's on a road and a journey that he's growing every single day. He's not on that journey where we've said, you know what? Nothing else we can do. He's growing every day. And that's the blessing that I see in this,
Mm.
that he's developing. And we're giving him the opportunity, as I said at the beginning, to be the best version of himself. And that's all I can ask for.
For people who's experiencing the same, who have family members that are going through this kind of diseases, and they're saying, no, it's too late, and almost give up on themselves as well. What message can you say?
I can say to you this: never give up. Fight for everything you possibly can. Advocate for everything you possibly can. There is something out there that can help. There is advancements in modern medicine every single day.
Yeah.
And if it's not today, It'll be next week or next month or next year or 10 years from
Yes.
now. Stay the course. Just like I discussed with Lizelle, like we will break through this cycle, and the ability for us to see continual improvement for Xander. That's why we're on this journey together. And I think that it took me a while to get there, to find that level of acceptance and not be that person that says, just talking nonsense. This is not for us.
Mm-hmm.
But be there, be present, and you will find a way, whether that be with us at the Brain and Performance Center or with any other support service that is involved in your child's healing journey. There will be a solution. And all I can say is have faith and stay the course.
Without mentioning those diseases or family members who have family members that are the same, are there individuals who show up in the center and said, "This is me. I am 85 years old and I want this for my family." To be able to, for them not to help me, but for me to help them.
Yeah. So I can give you an example of someone who came into the center. He was 103 years old at the time.
Yes.
He didn't come for anything more
Yes.
than independence. He didn't want to live a different life.
Yeah.
And when I spoke to him, I said, you know what? Why do you come here every single day? And he drove from Abu Dhabi. Why do you come to the center? Like, I don't come here for me, Craig. I come here for my wife. I come for my daughter. I come for my son. So they don't have to feed me. They don't have to shower me. They don't have to clothe me. You know, I have a driver. I have an amazing life. I come here because I want to make sure that they don't have to dedicate their life to me, and
So
I
they
can
can
support
do
them.
and function as themselves
Yeah.
and do the best version of themselves.
Exactly.
That's a great message. When you see real progress in child struggling with focus or communication, what does that mean to you personally beyond metrics or program outcomes?
So I look at one particular child, and we have children in the center every single day. And it's probably the most rewarding part of my role because, quite honestly, I see myself in some of the parents, to be
Yes.
fair. And we had a young girl come into the center in a wheelchair, and she had cerebral palsy and came in unable to walk, unable to communicate, and was really, from a family unit perspective, it was very tough. And the mother spoke to me and said, listen, I don't want 100% difference. I take 2% difference. I take 3%. I take any
Yes.
little bit that you can help to
Help.
change her life. So, you know, she met with our physician, who is a phenomenal physician. You know, in the neurological space, she is phenomenal. And the care team that was built around this child, from a physical performance, from a neuropsychology, from a functional perspective, was huge. Now, she went through the program, and she's so cute. She would say, as she would improve, it's like, I don't want to tell my mom. I don't want to
That's
tell
very
her.
cute.
So she knew that the duration in the program was 12 weeks. Okay, keep it to yourself. I don't want to tell my mommy. At the graduation,
Yes.
we can surprise her. Now, throughout that journey, she became more independent. And there's a testimonial online about her, so you can find more information about her. But the simple part, at the graduation ceremony, she came out of the suite. She was in her wheelchair and never, let's say, never shown mommy that I can walk. Pushed up out of the wheelchair, and a walker in front of her, and would started to shuffle down the corridor. And you can hear on the testimonial her voice saying, look, mummy, they made me walk again. And to be able to show that level of independence for her. She was a very young girl. It's phenomenal. And there's stories like this that happen every day, whether it be children that have fallen off a horse, whether,
Yeah.
having a traumatic brain injury, people that have had a motor accidents, people that have had cerebral palsy or are working through an autism diagnosis. In our children's wing, stories like this happen every single day, and the team do a phenomenal job.
I would like to see that. I would read more is it on the website?
Yeah, we have our YouTube channel. All of our testimonials are posted there.
Craig, can you please discuss the work of the center with DP World Foundation?
So we have a tremendous partnership with the DP World Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
As people know, you can't raise funds for the support of people who really need it unless you have a charity partner.
Yes.
Or you have a foundation partner that is licensed here in the UAE. You can't do things like GoFundMe
Yes.
and things like this. So our partnership with the DP World Foundation and their leadership is phenomenal. Last year we raised a significant amount of money for people who truly need care. We did that through the Everest for Autism, through other donors that were able to support and donate funds through the DP World Foundation to be directed for people who really need care and who simply can't afford it. Their due diligence, they go through each person's background and record to ensure that the funds are being directed to people who really need it. And, I couldn't be prouder, A, to be linked to them, and B, to have a partner like them. It's truly a very rewarding experience when you have someone come in and say, you know what, I've got you. This is a treatment program that we will fund on your behalf. And to have people be recipients of donations of this type is really a very rewarding experience. For me, you sit back every day and think to yourself, what can I do to help people? How can I continue to give back? And all I can say is this: when people wonder, what can I do to help? Reach out. At the end of the day, we have a variety of different mechanisms, whether it be social media, whether it be through our website, whether it be through the DP World Foundation directly. Take time to reach out. This program, whilst is, yes, scientifically and medically researched, it does create meaningful change in people's lives. And if you want to be a part of that, this is the time. You can make a change. And this goes directly to people who really need the support. So by all means, there are avenues to take care of people, and those people will stay the course and will maintain the ability to do everything they can to support their kids.
You mentioned about MRI scan and they have like mini strokes. Where do you think people could get that?
So when you come to an imaging suite and we have a blessing in our center that we have a full imaging suite. We have a 3 Tesla MRI, we have ultrasound and x-ray. But let's say, for example, you come in and you have an MRI of your brain. Now we have a radiologist and a radiographer that interpret these scans. So where do you get these white spots from? It's very simple.
Where?
It's the aging process.
It's the aging process.
Just like skin ages, hair ages, muscles and body ages, so does your brain. So throughout that process, these little white spots and these micro strokes occur.
Have you seen someone who has psychological issues such as ADHD, for example, and younger diagnosed kids with ADHD, for example? Have you seen any spots or the difference between a normal 5-year-old kid or 10-year-old kid with the scan of someone who has ADHD?
So I'll say this. The clinical team have access to a variety of diagnoses and pre and post scans. I can't see through my role as any particular scan other than my
Yes.
own and my son's
Yeah.
and my wife's. So, patient confidentiality is paramount at the center. And I think that, to delve into a discussion like this is definitely possible.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that would be probably better versed with one of our radiologists or one of our physicians at the center, because I really don't see the difference.
Yes. But looking ahead 10 years from now, how do you see the field of brain performance evolving?
I think as we spoke about before, society's learning. We are at the infancy, we are growing, we are understanding
Can I
more.
pause you there?
Yeah, sure.
But do you think it's a good or it's a bad thing?
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. The more and more we as society learn, the more and more the medical side will turn from reactive medicine to preventive medicine.
Yes.
And I think that puts less pressure on society, puts less pressure on insurance, puts less pressure on the medical system. And the most important part, it puts less pressure on the physical family environment. To care for people that have faced significant cognitive decline, the pressure on the family is immense. It's one of the most draining elements of the entire process is the pressure that it puts on the family unit. So whilst we as society educate ourselves and turning a reactive medical system to a preventive medical system, I think it's only best for all concerned.
If you were to influence someone, what's one habit you can tell to start today and protect their cognitive health?
I would say that it's very, very simple. Check your brain today. I think it's really important that you understand where your baseline is. Really important to understand if there are things that are currently happening that you could prevent from getting worse. If they're clean and clear, fantastic. But step one, you need to check, because without checking, you'll never know until it's too late.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for joining us here with MHR Podcast.
Pleasure.
And for
Thank you,
coming
Leah.
in here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Greg.
being here. Thanks for the invitation.